Hi, everyone, and welcome to our regular weekly office hours. And today with us is Bas. And before we kick things off, just a couple of housekeeping items. We're streaming live. You can watch us here on Riverside or on LinkedIn and YouTube. And I will be monitoring the chat throughout the session. So, in case you have any questions, please don't hold them off until the end of the session. Ask them away immediately so that Bas can address them because the goal of the session is to make sure that it is as interactive and hands on and useful for you as possible. So it's not a regular webinar with a presentation and a very strict format. It's more of a live show and tell where you can basically ask us any questions that you may have. And with that, I'm handing it over to Bas. Please tell us a few words about the topic and kick off your demo.
All right, thanks, Lena. So, as Lena said, my name is Bas. I work on the go-to-market side of Luzmo. So my day-to-day role is helping companies evaluate if embedded analytics is something for them. And the topic of today specifically is self-service analytics. And for that, we have two ways of offering that. One is an out-of-the-box embedded dashboard editor, which is our Luzmo Studio, but then embedded, white-labeled in your own team for your users. But then the real topic of today is our analytics components kit, which is a way or possibility to offer self-service analytics, but in the UI that you as a product team built, that you imagine that works best for your end users, but with the whole Luzmo infrastructure, data infrastructure, also AI powered behind it. So yeah, excited to tell you a bit more today about that. Right, Lena, you want me to start with showing a bit of what ACK is then?
Yes, that's the plan. Let's do exactly that. Please start off with a demo, and I can see that we have a few folks watching us here. So, in case you have any questions about what ACK actually is, if it's the right fit for your use case, like I said, don't hesitate to ask us any questions that you may have, and we'll pause to answer them immediately.
Yeah.
And yeah, let's kick off the demo.
Then let me show you a couple of things so everybody has an idea of what ACK actually is. But before I start with that, one thing I need to explain is what you're seeing right here. So everybody can see my screen. And again, feel free to ask questions in the meantime. This is Sales Compass, which is kind of like an example application that we built. It's like a SaaS sales application that can mimic a multi-tenant environment where different users can log in. But based on who's logged in, they can see different type of dashboards, have different user rights. So they can be a viewer or a designer. They can be both, of course, but also with the data filtered to what they can see. So like row level access, all these things. So let's pretend to be one of these users, in this case, Marcus. And Marcus is logging in and he's accessing the Sales Compass environment. As you can immediately see, this is like a landing page with our AI summary. This is our S Sales Compass, which is Luzmo's conversational analytics component. So this is an out-of-the-box chat component where a user can ask questions to their data source, or this is our front-end SDK, where something like this is a React filter can easily interact with Luzmo components. That's not the topic of today. What I want to show you is our report builder functionality. So the idea with Luzmo is that you can provide templated dashboards to your end users, and you can define which users can see which dashboards, but also how the data is filtered. But we also want to empower your users to edit their own dashboards or maybe build their own dashboards. So one of the ways of providing that is making sure that once you deployed the templated dashboards, in this case, Marcus can see the funnel and pipeline dashboards and the won and deals and revenue dashboards, he can edit their own dashboards, or he can edit their dashboard. So he can edit the dashboard, he can start from scratch, build a new dashboard, and he can do all these things like dragging it around, and I'm making a mess out of the dashboard right now. But he can also use, let me clean that up a little bit. But he can also use our drag and drop or AI chart builder to say like, hey, give me the deals closed per region, for example, and our AI chart builder will automatically start building the charts. One thing we're releasing here is also an AI dashboard builder. So this, in this example, is building one chart, but where we are working, we are releasing something where you can have a prompt and you can get the full dashboards as well. So this is still from an end user perspective, and an end user here, and let's give it a second here, can edit all these things. So they can say like, hey, via AI, I want to edit it, or maybe I just want to go into the settings and I want the bars less rounded, or I want to add some interactivity, like a go to URL, drill down, etc. Or maybe I just want to build a new chart here. So they can go to the slots that are available to them and they can easily drag and drop and build something new. The reason we are also pivoting to an analytics component kit is that this is our embedded dashboard editor. So this is out of the box. This is what we provide. And this is very similar to our studio. And you don't need to be a BI specialist to work with our studio, but you need some level of like technical expertise to start building with this, as you can see. So it really depends on your type of users, your customers, so or end users. What do you want to provide? Do you want to provide an even more like enhanced and robust editor experience than this? Or maybe do you want to simplify it? This is where the analytics component kit comes in. So the analytics component kit, it's a set of web components where you can use the whole Luzmo infrastructure, but you decide how that front end, how that UI looks like, and how a user can edit or build a dashboard. So to give you a quick example, and let me delete this variant because it's really a mess right now, is the modular report builder. So this is still a way for your end users to build their own dashboards, but it's in a different way. So here they can maybe still use the slots that are available to them. So here on the left, you have the list of all the categories and the measures that they can work with, and then they can drag and drop that, and they can choose, do I want a bar chart or maybe a line chart, and they can add that to the dashboard. Or you want maybe a more simple version where you can still ask AI, but then in a different kind of UIs, like give me the deals per region, and it can build a chart out of that. And let's give it a quick second here again. It can build a chart and you can add that chart to the dashboard. Or you can do something like work from Popular Insights, where you already built like some pre-templated or a chart or pre-built a chart for them, and they can add those to the dashboard. But they can also have the possibility to edit these dashboards. So as you maybe can see right now, like this is a different way of offering a self-service experience than what we have with the full embedded dashboard editor, which you see here. But you can still allow them to build something that they want. So maybe to show a different example here, just to give you an idea of the different possibilities that we have here, is let's go to the page on our website. So if you want to test this for yourself, feel free to go to our website. You can sign up for a trial as well, but you can also take a look at the different examples that we offer. So one thing I will recommend, and I will dive into this a bit later in this session, is go to the developers docs where this is all written out. But maybe first, let's go to a couple of examples. So we did a hackathon internally. So even the sales team had to build like dashboard and self-serve experience using ACK. And we have like a lot of examples coming from that. So maybe go to one of these examples and let me show you the one that I built. And just keep in mind that I'm not a developer, but I was still able to build a demo application with the analytics component kit to offer a self-service experience. So let me quickly open this one. So the one that I built is Sustain IQ. It's just like an ESG platform. So I created some dummy data. I built a mock-up application. But the idea is that I wanted to start from a template and then offer a self-service experience. And the way I build it is you can modify the dashboard that I made available, but you can also like build something from scratch. So if you want to modify the dashboard that I made available, the way I did it, I made the settings available. I choose in my own UI which settings I wanted to make available. So in this case, I didn't want to make all the interactivity functionalities available, only cross filtering, and only like a drill down or a measure dimension picker on this chart, for example, on this bar chart. So that's the goal with the analytics component kit. So not making everything available, but choose what you want to make available so your users have the best experience here. So they can go to the settings, they can choose, like I want a column chart or a bar chart, or I want to change the measure or the category here. I want to do things like groupings, or maybe still do the rounding of the corners, change that, add a title. But these are all the settings that I made available for them. So they can modify the existing charts, but what they also can do, and let's just build a new dashboard here, is add a first chart. And this is similar to the report builder. So I wanted to offer pre-built charts, pre-built templates that they can work from. So let's say the CO2 by city in this case. If I'm happy with it, I can edit as a widget, but I can also edit it myself. And then you go again to this menu that you have here. I can have a measure dimension picker. I can apply it, and the chart will build. One thing I was excited about is the AI functionality that I built in here. So this is a combination of Luzmo AI and or analytics component kit, where I can have a panel on the right side. These are some pre-prompts, like show me the total CO2 emissions by city, and it will analyze the data. It will come up with a chart that's like, in this case, it's a bar chart, it's the best option. I can add that, or what I can do is ask a follow-up question. Let's say, give me the CO2 by country, and I kind of forgot if that existed in this chart. Yes, that exists. In this case, I might want to modify one of these charts as well. So I can say, again, like from the pre-built templates, I can have this edit button, and an end user, so this is still all for your end users, can still modify that. And maybe I can go back to city, apply that, and add that to my dashboard. As you can see, and if you compare it to our sales compass, this can all be done in different teams. So the idea is that you specify how this dashboards experience looks like, but also it needs to be white labeled and in your teaming, all the things like localization. If your application, or if you have a French user, for example, or a Dutch user, the language of the dashboards already automatically changes with that. And for example, if the teaming, so maybe you prefer a light team or a dark team, and your end users can play around with that, the state of the dashboards always change with the state of your application. And this can also be done programmatically by the API. Before I dive into the developer docs, I'm not sure if there are any questions, Lina, or you want me to highlight more of these example applications, and otherwise I will show you the developer docs and walk you a bit through the documentation of this. I can't hear you, but I will go to the developer docs this case.
Yes, can you hear me now, Bas?
Yep, I hear you.
Awesome. We don't have any questions just yet. I saw that a couple of folks joined our session a little bit later. So in case you need any explanations to make it easier for you to follow along, let us know. And yes, I think maybe we can go over the developer docs, and then if we have more time, you can showcase a couple more examples to demonstrate what ACK allows to accomplish.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right, let me go back to the website then. So if you go to our website, if you go to product, if you go to composable analytics, you end up at this page where again you can like book a demo with us, where we can go in depth, or you can sign up for a trial to build something yourself. But the best way to use the analytics component kit, because it's not something that's like configured inside of our applications or out of the box, you can go to our developer docs. So if you go to our developer docs and you go to the analytics component kit, you see again an overview of like when to use the analytics component kit, for example. So a couple of examples, but also how to build this yourself inside of your tech stack. So you see all the different slots, filters, etc., and you can utilize that. The way I used it, because I'm not a developer, is we made our, and let me quickly find it here. We made our developer docs very LLM friendly. So if you're using a coding agent, and especially I would recommend that for using the analytics component kit, you can use your developer docs, you can use our LLM friendly docs or ND file, etc., to plug that into your coding agent that you prefer. So I did this with Cloud Code, but I have colleagues that did this with Codex, or you can use every type of coding agent. Insert that, install the package of the analytics component kit, retrieve your API code from Luzmo, from the application, and then you can start building around with this. Heavily recommend to use that. That way, I was able to build that sustain IQ example in under 4 or 5 hours without any developer experience. Maybe to quickly go then again to one of the other examples. Let me find this one. This is not something that I've built or super familiar with, but let's explore it together. It's the DevOps commands, where you can have different ways. So this is also with AI to start building dashboards, start asking questions. So I think what I wanted to show here is there are multiple ways of using the ACK component. It doesn't need to be one straightforward way, but you can build your own UI around this. So with the idea that you always have the slots available, the categories, the measures, to start building something and add that to your dashboard. Let me go to a different example here. So this is a CFO planning cockpit, where on the right you can say like, hey, I have these slots that are available that I want to edit right here. So I can, let me see what my colleague did here. I can add, for example, these, and you see here that on the left, the charts are added to my canvas here. And I also have a way of like drag and drop, use the drag and resize them here. Don't think my colleague had a settings button here, but that also shows like, hey, if you don't want your end users to have all these configurations, you can also just give them a list of the dashboards or the template or the charts that you want to provide to them, and they can start building these by themselves without in a simple way. So without all the configurations, all the slots, just, hey, I want to add this, and this to my dashboard. Nina, I think that's around the examples. Like if people want to explore these for themselves, they're on their website. Might be interesting to explain you a bit more how that works with our pricing, or I'm not sure if there are questions right now.
Not that I can see any questions at the moment. And while we're waiting for them, I actually want to drop two more links on the topic that you covered.
All right.
Because we recently ran two sessions that are very relevant to the topic. The first one is using AI agent skills. When you were showing our developer docs, there's an entire section on that. And this is something that will be definitely very helpful if you're trying to speed up your development and make sure that you have as much assistance as possible from the Luzmo product team. And there's also a link to the Luzmo MCP session that our VP of product ran last week. It also shows you how you can leverage our MCP server if you want your end users to query the data from your product in their LLM of choice, basically. So these links are in the chat. I'm also going to drop the developer docs link as well, because this is something that you mentioned, Bas, and this may be relevant for folks exploring ACK and figuring out how to use it. Um, And yeah, last call for the questions. I think we covered pretty much everything we wanted on the analytics components kit. And Bas, thanks for demoing a couple of applications that you and the team were able to build. And in
No worries.
case we don't have any questions, I think we can wrap the session. And if you're watching this in a recording, everyone who signed up for the session will receive the recording shortly after we finish. And you still have follow up questions or you want us to run this session for your team, we're more than happy to do that. Please highlight your use case, what you want to try and accomplish using the ACK, and we'll be more than happy to walk you through every step that you need to take to be able to reproduce a similar experience that Bas was showing.
All right, sounds good. Then thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks for joining us. We'll be doing another session later today for the ET time zone. And again, don't hesitate to drop questions to either the live streams or just ping us on LinkedIn, and we'll be more than happy to follow up with you. Thanks for joining us today, Bas. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye
See
bye.
you later. Bye.